want to talk to you about the outfield situation. So yesterday on the video, elaborated on the Cole Calhoun edition and focused on Cole specifically. Today's Twitter note was focused again on Cole Calhoun. So instead of just repeating that video, figured we'd broaden the conversation and discuss the outfield outlook. So it's all pending, right? You know, after the lockout ends, there's a really good chance the Rangers are in the mix for a free agent outfielder of desire. And I guess what I mean by that is not a role player, kind of veteran, Brock Holt, Charlie Culberson type, you know, how they fit into the infield in those roles. I'm more talking about a guy who, could be of some national appeal. I don't know that they're necessarily going to play at the very top of the market, but there are some outfield free agents available. Chris Bryant can play the outfield. I think he's got the flexibility to sign with a team as a third baseman, a utility player, an outfielder only, what have you. I don't get the sense so the Rangers would be in on him. Seems like Michael Conforto, from what I've heard, maybe asking for a lot of money, perhaps could sign a one-year deal and re-enter the market. Maybe the Rangers would be in on something like that, but the multi-year money, it seems that he's seeking, I don't think the Rangers would be in on. Nick Castellanos, the Rangers have been interested in Castellanos in the past. Not positive what the market's going to look like for him. He's not a great defensive player, but the Rangers could be interested in a corner guy. I wouldn't put that as likely, but it's just a name to throw out there. Seiya Suzuki, the Asian outfielder who's going to be coming over. The Rangers obviously have been very active in Pacific Rim operations. They've been linked to him. And so, that's another name to consider. Jorge Soler, possibly. Eddie Rosario, Nelson Cruz isn't an outfielder anymore, but he would kind of push Willie Calhoun to being an everyday outfielder. So while Nelly's not an outfielder, that would be a move that would impact the outfield. Andrew McCutchen, Jock Peterson, Tommy Pham, just some names that people know of, all-star caliber players in their past, even if not in their present, or for some of those guys, obviously all-stars in the present. I'm not positive that the Rangers are for sure going to go after one of those guys. I'm sure they're going to have conversations, and I'm sure they had some conversations already with some of those players. Again, Chris Bryant, the sexiest of those names, not someone I think the Rangers would go after. I think they've got the money to give 20, 25 million a year to a player. But perhaps that money goes towards Clayton Kershaw or someone on the mound. As we've talked about, the Rangers have spent a lot of money this offseason. They also are going to be and want to be in a position to spend a lot of money in subsequent off seasons. They're not trying to spend all of it right now. So while they still have a lot of money to spend, $20 million, if you can give that out for this particular year, I'm not talking about 5 years, $4 million per year, totaling $20 million. I'm talking about a $20 million per year deal. I think they still have that money about to give out and still would have a lot of money in subsequent off seasons. But, I don't know if that's going to be enough for a Chris Bryant type and maybe a couple of those guys on the list. Obviously, the Rangers have in some ways become Dodgers American League. And so Jock Peterson, the familiarity there and the ability to play center field is intriguing, because that now brings us to the Rangers and who they do have. Leody Taveras, I think, is still thought of as a guy who very well could be the center fielder of the future. He's had a good offseason in the Dominican, showed flashes towards the end of the year, I guess from bouncing back from some growing pains. But the Rangers have made it very clear they don't want to hand anyone without skins on the wall a job. And Leody Taveras, as exciting as, his future prospects remain, and remember, Leody, he was born in 98. That means he's 23. He turns 24 in September. He's super young. I don't know that they want to hand him a job. That's not to say he won't be this team's opening day center fielder, but I think they want him to really, really earn it. And I think they'd love to have a veteran on the roster to really push him and to take the job if he doesn't just blow you away. Willie Calhoun, a little left field, a little DH, right? If he's around it. You got Cole Calhoun, who's a right fielder, DH. Adolis Garcia, we know can play right. We know he can play center. Zach Rex is on the 40-man roster. Not sure, how he factors in other than, maybe some depth. Eli White, I'm not sure if the Rangers remember Eli White, as young as Leody is. Eli White will be turning 28 this year. So, is he maybe just more of a fourth outfielder? And then you've got guys like Nick Solak. Where's Nick Solak going to play? Is he going to have to bring outfield back to the repertoire? What about a guy like Andy Ibanez playing left field? What non-primary outfielders on the roster will maybe be asked to consider playing some outfield? I think Cole Calhoun, as we discussed yesterday, will get a lot of opportunities, especially against righties, either at DH or right field. I think right now, Adolis Garcia could be your center fielder. He could play right, but let's not forget, Adolis had a great year last year. He's got to prove it. And we'll talk a little bit more about Adolis in a few days. I'm going to do a little bit about his rookie season. But Adolis had a rough second half, and that could mean one of two things: growing pains, just your typical league adjusts to you, and now you got to go adjust to them. Adolis, I don't know. You look at his second half. I don't know that you could say, hey, he really did make adjustments to the adjustments the league made against him. So, he's going to have to prove that he can remain an everyday player as good as his rookie year was. But I do think he'll obviously be in a great position to earn plenty of opportunity early in the year. Willie Calhoun, what are the Rangers going to do with Willie? A left field DH. Do they want to give those at-bats to Willie Calhoun, or do they want Andy Ibanez to be the left field DH guy? I think there's still thought that Willie, who's going to turn 28 in November, so this will be his age 27 season, there's still, a lot to like in the bat, but he's been snake bitten with the Rangers, and maybe new scenery, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Willie. So, I think with the Rangers, there will be at least one free agent addition, whether it's going to be a guy that we all get pumped about and he's, middle of the order type guy. I'm not positive. I think at minimum, you're going to see 2 to 3 outfield additions, who are going to be able to challenge for playing time or serve as depth, so that these young guys don't just get handed, the role, specifically a guy like Leote and someone to challenge Adolis Garcia. Again, Adolis had a great rookie year, but Adolis Garcia is going to have to show that, as we've seen so often in Major League Baseball, all teams, great rookie years don't guarantee great careers, right? Because the book is out on you. He's going to have to show that he can read that book, so to speak, and make the necessary adjustments. So the outfield picture is very murky right now, not necessarily in a bad way. I think there's a lot of flexibility, a lot of opportunity, and it's going to be a part of the roster, part of the lineup that gives guys a lot of chances to get at bats. But unlike the infield, where you can look and say, Corey Seager's the shortstop, Marcus Semion's the second baseman, I don't know that we can look at the outfield and say for sure someone is in a particular spot. Maybe the closest is Cole Calhoun in right, Adolis Garcia in center, but even that, I think there's some wiggle room, as far as where they're going to be and what their roles are. So that's a little bit on the outfield. Again, every day or close to it, not every day, but close to it, I'm trying to tweet just a Rangers nugget, and we'll also try and have accompanying videos maybe to elaborate on it if there's an opportunity to expand the conversation. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you later.